I'd like to say welcome to everyone. I'm joined by this wonderful mustached man. His name is Tom. Tom's one of our senior SEO strategists here. Super smart dude, all-round nice guy. I twisted his arm and convinced him to come and talk to us around blogs. Tom, how are we going, mate? Are you keeping well?
Keeping very well. Really excited. It's my first webinar. Just happy to get stuck into content and SEO. That's what we're all about.
So good. Well, that's where you spend your life. So specifically, we're talking blogging. Why should I'm a very important busy business owner, Tom. Why should I care about blogging?
Yeah, it's a really good question, John. So when we look at the stats, we can see that companies that blog, they get more leads, up to 4.5 times more leads than those publishing one monthly post. So sort of the more you post, the more leads that you can get to an extent. Website traffic, obviously the main goal with blogs is to increase traffic to a website, sort of their primary purpose. And so as you'd expect, you see websites that have a lot of blogs have about 434% more index pages and more organic traffic. And again, just the more you do, the more this is going to increase. And then it also influences purchase decisions. There's so much information out there. There are so many competitors. There's so much to sit through when you're looking to buy something. And so everyone's checking every avenue. A lot of people check Instagram, but people are also looking at websites, seeing what sort of blogs they're posting, what sort of content they're putting out. And it was found that 60% of consumers feel more positive about a company after reading custom content on their site.
Google still relevant. We agree. Still relevant. Yeah. And
absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Tick. Now Google content guidelines. They talk about eating your breakfast. What does this mean? What does this acronym mean?
Yeah. So the EEAT or EEAT guidelines, however you want to say it. These are a framework established by Google that help establish the quality of a search result. So until December 2022, it was just EAT, which was expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And then in December 2022, they also added experience to highlight the value of content based on direct personal experience. So you can imagine, for example, if you're looking to buy a product and you're looking for reviews, it's a lot better to have reviews from someone who has actually used the product, who maybe wasn't paid by the company to provide a review. And so that sort of personalized experience, they identified as another metric that they'd like to look at. A really interesting thing to note with the EEAT guidelines are that they're not actually metrics that Google itself uses. They are guidelines for people called quality raters, and they kind of look through the list of results and they establish whether or not the results are meeting these guidelines.
Yeah, which was interesting when we were having a chat going through this stuff the other day. Like there's still manual intervention being done from Google that then obviously goes forth and trains the algorithm and the bots and the AI and all that sort of stuff. So that was very interesting to me.
Yeah, it is pretty fascinating. I think there are like 10,000 or so quality raters across the world, all employed by Google. And it's, they have a full job description. You have a handbook and everything that sort of explains to you how to do it. And yeah, it's a sort of fascinating subculture on the internet you don't really hear too much about. In terms of the EEAT as well, the new framework reacts a lot to the content's context. So professional expertise is crucial for technical topics like tax returns, user experience, more relevant for things like product reviews, which we sort of covered. But even if we look at an example, let's say there's a yoga company and on their website, they're making posts about different yoga poses. Some of the teachers are Kundalini yoga, some of them are yin yoga. And so you can kind of see, even in that case, the different experts, even though they all tick the expertise function of being yoga instructors, they might not have very much direct experience with the different kinds of yoga. Right. And so that's sort of where this new guideline comes into play, in that you can get a little bit more specific with even who's writing the blog post. So, if you're a small business accountant, it might be difficult for you to write things about tax that affect really large corporations, and then vice versa. If you work more with large corporations, it'll be difficult to write more about the small business stuff, while you technically have expertise in the tax area as a whole. So that's sort of where it comes into play.
To simplify that, like good quality content that adds value in people's lives, that is as niched as possible and relevant to your specific industry or service or product.
100%. Yeah.
Cool. So like sort of delving into the technical side of things, I mentioned this before, we need to see what opportunities exist. So this is where sort of that keyword research comes into play. And there's lots of different resources out there to do this.
Yep.
Talk us through keyword research, Tom, and why that's so important.
Sure. So keyword research is just vital for SEO as a whole. It's the foundation for every SEO content strategy, but it's also the basis for SEO, in its entirety. Finding the right keywords is absolutely crucial. So you need to understand the differences between in search intents. So sometimes people will be looking for a transactional keyword or an informative keyword, a commercial keyword or a navigational keyword. And so you just have to, when you're looking at the keywords, understand exactly what the focus should be for the content targeting that keyword. And then you have to look at, the bulk of it, which are the search volume, the keyword difficulty, and all that kind of stuff. But the research doesn't stop once you found the keywords either. So if we look back at the search intent, it can be really helpful. If you find a keyword, you want to write something about it, put it into Google. What are the top results? What do they look like? What are your competitors doing? How can you build upon that and improve on that?
Cool. Well, let's put this into action. Let's check out an example. This is some of your handiwork here. Let's just start with this here, where the actual client is a physio out of Sydney. They got multiple locations throughout Sydney. And if we search on this specific phrase here, knee pain exercises, the stats behind this are insane in terms of the traction this blog post has got. So just for this specific keyword, we can see it's sitting here in #1 position. And we've got a thumbnail that's associated with the actual listing, which is a good sign from Google.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
So if we actually click on this, we'll show you what the article actually looks like. We look at the anatomy of the article. 7 exercises for knee pain is the headline. Featured image. What's the rough word count on this, Tom?
About 1,000, maybe a little bit over 1,000.
Okay. And is that the sweet spot still?
Yeah, I think 1,000 is a good target to aim for. It's good to be flexible with it. There are certain tools you can use, like Phrase, that can analyze the top 10 results and tell you exactly how long each is. But 1,000 words is a really good target to aim for.
You created the content, 1,000 words. Now we're like, all right, there's not too many stock photography resources out there around like exercises for knee pain. So Tom he put his body on the line, and literally what we did was we got someone to snap Tom doing the physical exercises, and you can sort of see like they're not the highest quality images or not a professional shoot, but they demonstrate how to do the exercise. I don't know, there's 6 or 7 different images in here, maybe more. And you see, you try not to burst out in laughter here. Now, that's the like pretty basic blog. Let's actually look at the stats behind this, because it's bonkers in terms of so what this graph here is. This is an organic traffic to this specific page, just this single page in any given month. And this is utilizing a tool called SEMrush. You can then see the volume of keywords that it actually ranks for. So in this instance, 118 top 3 keywords just for this one specific bit of content. Let's have a look at some of these keywords in terms of what it actually ranks for. So you can see #1 position, knee pain exercises for knee pain, exercises for sore knees, physiotherapy exercise for knee pain, and the list goes on and on and on. This is ultimately what's driving all the traffic to this specific site. And that's just here in Australia.
When we looked at the top organic keywords for Australia, we saw the physiotherapy exercises come through. And I think that's specifically because this is a physiotherapist client. And besides that, if we go back into the top organic keywords, this is a great starting point for follow-up content as well. So if we scroll down a bit, maybe until we get out of position 1, which is a long way to go, we get further down here, you can see things like knee rehab exercises or knee strengthening exercises, which are probably a slight variation on what this blog is on. It's more about trying to alleviate knee pain quickly. And so then that tells me knee strengthening exercises could be a great follow-up blog. You can kind of link in between them, and they can work together to, again, just increase the overall authority and increase the overall traffic of the two blogs together. Awesome. So looking back at the content, seeing what it's ranking for, seeing, if it's on the top of page 2 for something, maybe that's another blog that you can do to target that keyword specifically.
Yeah. And then, so there's another tool in here called the Keyword Magic tool that then allows us to see maybe what other opportunities exist as well. From like the all keywords, but we were having a laugh at this one. Knee is paining. 1,300 searches on that in Australia every single month.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. I think people must be really desperate when they're searching that. They can't think straight. They're like, oh, knee is paining. Someone help. This is sort of where we do the vast majority of our keyword research. You can see at the top, we have all keywords, broad match, phrase match, exact match, and related. Yeah. The all keywords section is relatively new, and it's actually been a really, really handy tool because it gives a broader selection of keywords. So you can see here, while our search term is knee pain exercises, it gives the overall search volume for knee pain. You have things like knee muscles, sore knees, muscular knees, how to strengthen knees, which we were sort of talking about before. And so it can, again, if you want to write another blog to go along with it, or look for things that are more related, or even similar keywords that you might not use. So we're looking at knee pain, but obviously a lot of people search for sore knees as well. So it could be good to just try and sprinkle that throughout the content too. Yep.
So you can see, specific total clicks, 20,000. So this is for the life of the blog, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So the blog went live in January this year. And since then, it's got 20,000 clicks, 751,000 impressions with a click-through rate of 2.7 and an average position of 19. Yeah. And that average position would have been, when it was first starting to rank, it was position 100, and then now it's position 1 for a lot of things. It takes into the account the whole life of the blog.
Nice. And then there's this like really helpful tool called ChatGPT. That generally makes life a whole bunch easier. What are some comments around this?
Yeah, so I think ChatGPT has just exploded onto the scene. I think it was released to the public November 30th last year, so it's not even hasn't been out to the public for a full year yet. And it's just taken the world by storm. I think AI is at the top of everyone's list in terms of what's going to affect business and everything going forward. But it's important to remember that ChatGPT is just another tool in the content creation toolkit. It can be very useful, and it is very useful, but you still need to wield it with caution and care. And if you rely on it too heavily, you're not, providing your own expertise and your own insights into a topic. You can't be surprised then when your content doesn't take off.
It'll flat out lie to you, won't it, Tom?
It can do, yeah. So definitely, your due diligence is really, really important. Fact checking and research is still absolutely vital to good content. Making sure that you have your sources before you write can be really helpful. So you can put those into ChatGPT and say, if we're writing about knee pain, find some really good quality sources, put them in, say, base your answer off of this information and use that. And then that you're getting factual information. Yep. So sort of things like that are very, very useful. And then it's important to remember, and I guess that what we've touched on already, is that the fundamentals still matter. So the WEAT guidelines still matter. The process of good quality content and good quality SEO content still matter. And just because it's easier now to write the content doesn't mean we can
Yep.
take our foot off the pedal and just hope for the best.
And you still need like good quality images, and you can still model for those images as well. So,
Yep.
you can't get ChatGPT to do all that stuff. So
No, not yet.
So, all right, what would be an example? This is specifically this knee pain one. How could we repurpose that? And we got a few little ideas here.
Make it into a PDF so that people can download it is very helpful. And you can use that on your socials. You can include it in your email marketing. I think we're actually working with a client at the moment who are going to give out a flyer with a QR code that's going to take them to a page. Take people to a page to download a PDF. So there's just so many ways nowadays that you can use PDFs and useful guides like that.
Awesome. Yeah. And then you can use that as even opt-ins, build a list, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Promote it on social media.
Simple. Put a link to it on LinkedIn or, Facebook or whatever. But then, that's where you maybe come up with a multimedia experience where there's a specific video bit of content that is more targeted to the social media, and then link out to long form content or whatever. So, but it's just another way, and that's still social. The social platforms still signals for Google algorithm in terms of linking of content and all that sort of stuff. Repurposing into audio. I'm a big audio consumer in the car and running and all that sort of stuff. That's ultimately that's how I wrote a book 7 years ago. The book started literally as just a combination of all the blog posts long form blog posts that I'd written. And I'm like, all right, I put them together in terms of a logical sequence and, reformatted a whole bunch of stuff. And then that turned into a book. And then I actually got a narrator to narrate the book. That's now then up on Spotify as a free bit of content, and then I'm going to actually go and rewrite that book tail end of this year over Christmas. So it's just sort of using that as an example of how just one bit of content can evolve and iterate into other mediums. My parting shots: go deep. There's just so many opportunities there. You saw with the amount of keyword research, there's just it's infinite in terms of opportunities to write content. Don't be afraid to get creative with the visuals. All you need is a phone and repurpose for maximum leverage. What about you, Thomas? What are your thoughts?
Obviously I approach this all from an SEO perspective. So I think just emphasizing again that content is a key component of any SEO strategy. ChatGPT has changed the game. It's made life easier, but the fundamentals of good content creation are still in play, such as the WAT guidelines that we looked at. And then do your research both before and during the content creation process. So just always be double checking, seeing what your competitors are doing, seeing who you're going against, and making sure that you're either matching or exceeding what they're doing.
There's a couple of questions here. Caroline asks a really good one. How do you get the thumbnail on the search results?
That's a good question. Yeah. It's so long as you feature images throughout the blog, and they're sort of in an easy to understand format, so either PNG, JPG, or WebP, then they should get pulled through. Yeah. Google can be a little bit funny with it. For example, if you're looking at the homepage, sometimes Google will just pull through the latest image from the newest page that's gone on or the newest blog that's gone on, which might not be exactly what you want next to your homepage, but there's not a whole lot you can do to change that because Google just does it automatically.
Yeah. So in short, you've got zero control over it, Caroline. All you can do is make sure there's an image on your page, and then it's totally up to Google whether they choose to display it as a thumbnail and what they choose to display. Michael, you asked about just links in social media, specifically Instagram. Instagram deliberately makes it very inconvenient to link out unless it's like a paid sponsored post. You can utilize tools like Linktree, which are accessible via the bio, and that allows you to then, go out and have like a really simple landing page of maybe like 10 links to, in your instance, you might have your top 5 running events that are coming up or whatever. So that's all I could recommend there, just from linking out of Instagram. then Dave's asked, should you use a blog and turn it into a newsletter? If so, should it be edited? What's your view on that, Tom? Would you copy and paste the whole blog into a newsletter, or would you do a condensed version of that in the email and then link out to the detailed blog post? How would you approach it?
Yeah, probably the latter more so. I think with newsletters, it's great because you can put in multiple links as well. You can say, here's our latest blog post. This is what we talk about, just a little snippet. And then you can also say, and we've also started providing this service, and you can link to your new service page. At the end of the day, with blog content and SEO content, what we're trying to do is get traffic to the website. And so if you're just giving everything to everyone in a newsletter and not pushing them to the website, it's not exactly going to be doing the function that we want it to do. Yeah.
We got a digital strategy scorecard if anyone is interested in checking that out. That is us, mate. We're taking a little break. We'll be back in January. If you're here, you're probably on our list, so we will let you know what the next New Year topic will be, and go forth and have an amazing Christmas and rest up, and we'll see you in 2024.